What's up, guys? I'm Josh Pate. That's Steve Wiltfong. Weekly Wiltfong recruiting whip around back as usual. Steve, we're less than a week now from signing day. It'll be you and me together in a studio in Nashville, the way that God intended. But until then, we've got a lot to talk about and a lot leading up to that signing day show. So let me get started with Avonte Dickerson. I know you got the very latest there, so why not? Let's go ahead and spill it on the show.
Yeah, man, the top 247 cornerback from the state of Nebraska. He made a surprise commitment earlier in his process to Minnesota, choosing the Gophers over in-state Nebraska, local Nebraska. And he was the jewel of the Minnesota class for quite some time, but he did not put pen to paper during the early signing period, obviously, as we're talking about him now. And he decommitted from Minnesota over the weekend. And early this week, I logged 24/7 Sports crystal ball forecast in favor of Oregon. His relationship with longtime recruiter Rod Chance, who coincidentally used to work at Minnesota. He's now going to be starting his second year at Oregon. I think that they have a terrific relationship and trust. And I think that Oregon and the level of ball that they're playing and him getting a chance to go out and see Eugene has put the Pac-12 power in position to land him. Oregon obviously has won 2 straight Pac-12 championships. They're tracking for a 3rd straight Pac-12 recruiting title. They're sitting at number 6 nationally, which is they're looking for their best class in 24/7 sports history. And Avonte Dickerson would be a big boost there. One of the better two-way guys in the Midwest, helped his team win a state championship as a senior. It was also dynamic in the return game. He has a sub 1100 meter dash time from, I believe, 2 years ago. He's like a 4.1 shuttle from 2 years ago. So he's one of the fastest, quickest guys in this recruiting class nationally. And he's someone that whoever lands him, and I think is going to be Oregon, is getting a guy that can cover those shifty, fast slot receivers, or these new all-purpose backs that are creating nightmares for defensive coordinators. Avonte Dickerson is a mismatch eraser in that regard with his skill set, and I like Oregon for him.
Steve, a few weeks ago, we were talking about Kamar Wheaton, a big-time running back prospect, and how he surprised some people by committing to Alabama over Oklahoma. And ever since then, there's been this quiet drumbeat of he's committed to Alabama, but he's not signed. Is there any life still for the Sooners? So I haven't asked you about this since he committed, so today is as good a time as any. Is Kamar Wheaton done to Alabama, or is this thing still kind of open behind the scenes?
Not talking to someone last night, I think it is still open behind the scenes. And look, that recruitment was so close that at the end, and I think the team that was trailing most of the time came in and stole victory from defeat in Alabama. So when you have such a strong relationship with DeMarco Murray at Oklahoma, and you've been to Norman several times, they were never going to go away, and I don't think they have. And I think maybe even Kamar initiated some of that contact with Oklahoma again following his commitment to Alabama. But I think Oklahoma is very much alive there. I think that it has helped Oklahoma's cause that Alabama's had so much turnover on their offensive staff. But I think that he's always had a trust with Oklahoma and has always liked the offense and has always liked Lincoln Riley. And I think DeMarco Murray is one of his guys in this process that he's really clicked with, along with Coach Samples at SMU. That trust, I think that you can't rule Oklahoma out down the stretch here, as they try and add to the number 1 class in the Big 12. But they're still very much in the mix for Kamar Wheaton heading into next Wednesday, National Signing Day.
So, Steve, we had 2 people yesterday, 2 prospects rather, in our new 5 stars that we revealed on the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel, and you can still watch that show here, by the way, that are still uncommitted. One was JT Tuimoloau. We've talked about him plenty, but also Terrion Arnold is still uncommitted, and this one's really, really tight. There's a perceived leader for JTT. For Terrion Arnold, this thing's been pretty low confidence on your end. You've had the crystal ball in for Florida, and so I ask you every week. I got to wrap up today with asking you, what's the latest on Terrion Arnold?
Well, Terrion Arnold told me on Wednesday that he was planning to visit Florida and Alabama this weekend, and at least one more time before National Signing Day. I know George is working hard down the stretch to land him too. It's such a big need for the Georgia Bulldogs, and we've seen Kirby Smart and his staff close better than any program. But I think that Georgia, I think, still has some questions that they have to get answered for Terrion to move into pole position. With the inner workings of their program. And I think that he knows everything he needs to know about Alabama right now. And I think that Alabama's in a sound position for Terrion Arnold. He's got great trust in Coach Saban and their development and track record at the position, and complete buy-in about him playing basketball. Florida, I think that they were in great position, but one thing that you got to keep in mind with Florida is they have 3 safeties committed already. Are they going to take a 4th? Tough decisions for Dan Mullen and company. I don't know how you pass on the 24/7 Sports 5-star like Terrion Arnold if he wants to come, and it's not a layup that they would get him anyway, but they already have 3 safeties committed, and it's a pretty damn good. That's one of the strengths of their class is safety already. But Georgia, I think that seeing Tyreek Stevenson leave, Terrion Arnold wanting to get some answers on that, I think is key down the stretch here, because that was a guy that was going to be an impact player for Georgia. So I think that those are the types of things that Terrion Arnold is trying to button up down the stretch here, as he is trying to make a tough decision between those 3 SEC schools. So I think it's a little bit up in the air. I don't like my Florida pick anymore. I would probably lean Alabama as we're recording right now, but still a ton of communication with Georgia down the stretch here, and they could easily land him as well.
There you go. That's why you watch the Whip Around. Steve Wiltfong, pleasure as always. Keep it locked on 247sports.com, and check out the National Signing Day show next Wednesday morning. Steve, pleasure as always, sir.
Yep. Take care, y'all. See you on the blue board.